Kia ora, everybody. Welcome to the Unable Seaman podcast, the podcast designed to take a light-hearted look at all things boating and fishing in New Zealand. I'm your host, Jay Kerr, and joining me once again is my first mate and best mate, Christian Jensen. G'day, mate. How are you?
Yeah, bloody good, bloody good. I always love being the guest of the show. It's beautiful.
We make this joke every time, but you are the one and only guest, and probably my one and only mate. So
Actually, you know what I was going to do? I was going to have this mate around, Alex, who lives up the road, and I said to him, you could be a part of a podcast. Oh, what podcast? I said, I was pretty famous in New Zealand. Anyway, he texted me. He's like, oh, maybe we'll catch up tomorrow night,
I don't want to be part of New Zealand's least listened to and talked about podcast.
Hey, most liked and adored. We're like the golden child of New Zealand.
And what a one he's missed out on, because we have so much to catch up on and talk about, including a brand new Tristram, a brand new Rayglass, a brand new Haines Hunter, and a brand new Buccaneer to start off with.
Oh yeah, I know what Buccaneer you're talking about. That thing is.
No, you can't just come in all hard and fast with what Buccaneer you're going to talk about.
Okay, so my mum came down to see us for the week. Sadly, we were quite sick. Everyone was sick in New Zealand, I think, last week. And as her leaving gift, she gave me 2 magazines, Fishing New Zealand and Boating New Zealand. So I dived straight into that there. And in that, it had the new Buccaneer and had the new Rayglass that you talk about.
Well, then you will be, for once, you will have actually come into this podcast maybe semi-prepared. I guess time will tell.
Educated. Yes.
Not just the usual sort of uneducated crap you bring.
Hey, you know me. I am so well aloof with the world of boating that I can just talk at a whim with you and still be up to date.
Yeah, and look, potentially that's why the reason where the podcast hasn't taken off. Who knows?
Hey, my local KP Marine, when I turn up there, they go, "Hey, hello, Unable Seaman."
Oh, do they?
Yep.
I had some kids at school said, "We found your YouTube channel and asked if I had an ejaculation problem."
Yeah, true.
It's pretty awkward, to be honest. But anyway, bro, we're back. It's
It's been too long.
It has been too long. Now, we do try to be regular with these. However, I'll let both of us off, because if you are listening and you think, where have we been? Christian had a baby, and I have moved to Bay Islands. So we're
both and if you want to wreck catching up with your mates, buy a house and move into one and have babies. Those are great ways to kill your social life.
Absolutely, it has. So we're back, and like I say, plenty on offer in this episode. So it is quite a nerdy boat one. So I don't know. I really don't know what our demographic is, but if you're into your boats and you're into the sort of nuances between brands, stick around. This is one of those sort of.
No. I reckon our audience, like, if you like talking shit and you like the salty, briny stuff, and you drink Spates or Corona, we could get on.
Yeah. I say that as I drink a whiskey, a very cheap Johnny Walker Red Label whiskey. Actually, people are going to laugh at home, and I'm sure the Tristram owners out there won't approve of it. But I'll tell you what, for your Rayglass battlers,
your Benito boys,
your Benito boys, your Johnny Walker Red Label was great.
Hey, on the whiskies thing, bro, Ash and Carl, one of Chelsea's friends, came down to say hi, and they brought us to drink. It's called Sheepdog whiskey. It's more like a liqueur.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'd say it's more caramel, but it's meant to be peanut butter. Jesus, it goes down way too easy, eh? Like, you got to get into that stuff, man. I'm actually going to get the bottle right now. I'm going to pour a glass.
Recommending it, because these whiskeys that try to be more than they're not. Sorry, Boaties, by the way. Go make a cup of tea or something. These whiskeys that try and be something they're not. To be blunt, awful. Peanut butter whiskey. Who the hell wants peanut butter with their whiskey?
Well, you know what, bro? This one's actually fucking. Do we censor this?
No, of course not.
Cool. This is fucking good, bro.
No, swear away, because when you're talking about shit whiskey, Sheepdog peanut butter whiskey, I would rather drink the oil out of the lower unit of your outboard than that.
Bro, you should. Okay, that's actually pretty clean. We can talk about that later. I've got a brand new lower. I've got a brand new lower unit. Thank you of MAS Insurance and KP Marine. Thank you very much.
Yes, and we will get to that in a minute. But as
But you need to try this whiskey, bro. It is actually more of a liqueur. So they think of it as a liqueur with whiskey somewhere in the title, and it is beautiful. It's like it's not trying to be anything. It's just trying to be tasty.
it really isn't, and
It's not trying to be snooty. Like, oh yeah, walk around the mulberry bush and you'll feel the love of this whiskey and the fine years and all the aristocrats that have made it. Blah. This is like, bro, caramel
yeah.
liqueur. Mean
This
enjoy.
is your fry pan 5 meter boat. No frills, no sea deck, no cabin. Just get out there and bloody catch a snapper and come home.
Yep, and maybe a kahawai.
Yeah, kahawai, and we'll bloody whack it on the smoker.
Yep.
Anyway, we have teased 4 amazing boats there. We've got plenty else to talk about on the
Sorry,
fringes.
what were they again? What were the 4 boats? So,
Wow, that whiskey's gonna stick your head, mate. So exciting times because we've got a brand new Tristram, a
yep,
brand new Rayglass, a
yep,
brand new Haines Hunter, and
yes,
a brand new Buccaneer. So the
right,
Fibreglass absolutely
yep.
whacking it out of the park after our last couple of podcasts where we've talked a lot about Macaira, we've talked a lot about Surtees, we've talked a lot about lots of aluminium boats. Dicky, we bloody bang on about almost every podcast. The Fibreglass guys have really come back strong, which is cool. It's really cool to see New Zealand manufacturers releasing new product, particularly in pretty tricky economic times. And we are going to come back to those economic times in a minute because I've got a theory about that. And I'm sure all listening will be waited with bated breath to see my theory on that.
Hey,
But let's
wait, bated breath. What a good little pun there for the dads. I
mate,
like that.
you can see I've really done some work in the
You
off
have.
season podcast here. Let's start with the big heavy hitter, though. The boat that was dropped at the last boat show, a boat that was probably the worst kept secret in the marine industry, and a boat that you and I actually got to be on board before it was even released. Of course, we are
Yes.
talking about the Rayglass 3000,
Yes.
which has been a real interesting boat for them, and we'll get to our thoughts in a minute. But they obviously released the 3500 a couple of years ago. It's been a fantastic seller. There's not many people making fiberglass production launches in New Zealand, and it's been a real hit. You could almost go into any bay over the summer and count a Rayglass 3500.
Mm,
Also
mm.
seen a shift in their design language with their
Massive, eh? From those sort of like curves and stuff on the
yeah
bow.
yeah
Quite angular, and they sort of look like a oh, it'll come to me. What's that American brand of boat that I quite like? Do
Boston
you give me
Whaler,
shit? Pardon?
Boston Whaler,
No,
Panga.
no, no. The one that you give me shit about, then you said, "Nah, bro, you can't have that." You've got to like walk through a cutout in the cabin to get down into the bottom.
Caribbean,
Yeah,
Bert.
like Caribbeans and Bertram. Yeah, Bertram, that's what it was.
Yeah, yeah. I can see what you do mean by that, but it is that design language that we probably first saw in the America's Cup when Rayglass very kindly sponsored all those protectors. So they got that sort of
Correct.
new sort of protector hardtop. But
Yeah.
anyway, the 3000. So it's essentially going to cannibalize their 2800 market, I think. But
Really?
I think so. And we're going to come back to that in a second. But I want you've been on it and you've also seen the reviews. What do you think of the 3000?
Oh, like four because it's what is it? It's a 10 meter boat, eh? 9.5 meters, something 9 meters. Is that right?
Uh, 30 feet. Yeah, what is that? 9.9 or something? Yeah.
Let me just have a quick look. Yeah, 9 meters.
Mm.
Um, I think it's amazing. I think it's beautiful. I love how they've put a like they've if you go from the front, they've flattened off the deck that sits above effectively what you call the sleeping area, right? So it's actually usable, which I think is really cool. The walk around, which the 3500 doesn't have the walk around at the front. Like you can't walk down the side chine.
Yeah, the 2800 you mean, or the 35?
The 3500 you can't walk down around the outside
Yeah,
because
yeah,
the cabin goes right out to the full reaches of the beam. I do like how on the inboard version, because they do it outboard, blah blah blah. On the inboard version, you've got the seats that sit in front of the inboard engine, which looks pretty
yeah,
cool. I like the shape and how they've gone to that more, I would say, a more modern, a little bit sharper, like lines on it. And I like how they've kept that classic sort of space around the fishing space around the back of the back behind the engine towards the transom, and they keep it simple. They put a chili bin right underneath the bait board that's right off the back. Keep it simple, right there. It's cool, you know.
Okay, you've been pretty positive there. I'll give you that, and
I would have it. I do think it's a bit of a stretch that they say it's trailerable.
it does come on a triple axle trailer. The only thing I've tried to do a bit of research. I could not, for love nor money, find the width. I don't know if it's over width. So, for example, the Tristram 821 was a step up from the 881.
Mm-hmm.
Because it went over width, so 2.7 something or other, so which was a big change.
Yeah.
I could not find on their website. There was every other stat except the width. So it does come on one of those triple axle trailers, but I agree with you from seeing it up close. I mean, they
Like, it's
tow it.
big, bro. Like, if you're towing that, you're not
They
going to be
tow
towing
it
that up.
with a Ram, Dodge Ram. So
Yeah, great, but you're not going to tow that to Coromandel and launch
no,
it at
you,
Takuma. Like,
you're not.
yeah.
You're not.
So,
Now, I agree with some of what you've said. I'm gonna get a few things off my chest with Rayglass. Okay, so I own a Rayglass, so I want that to be out there.
but okay? What is your Rayglass though?
Okay, it's a 650. It's not a 3,000. Right? I mean, there's a $50 million lotto draw tomorrow night, so look, it may one day be well, it won't be a 3,000, and I'll get to
Oh, he's already gone and put his position down. He's like, no. I'd rather have a 22.
that. Okay, I'm gonna start at the start. When I knew we were doing this podcast and I wanted to talk about this boat, I contacted Rayglass 3 times to get
Yep.
pricing. Three
Yep.
times to get pricing, and I have not heard a word back.
Yep.
Now, I want to temper that by saying we also did go to Rayglass at the end of last year with Powerboat Training. Help me, I'm drawing a blank on his name. Andrew Flanagan from Powerboat Training, who took us
Yep.
through, and they were very accommodating. So they were great that day. But
Yep.
I asked 3 times about pricing, and I initially just said, hey, look, can I get some pricing? Yep, absolutely, we'll email you. So I could have been a customer, right?
Mm.
Didn't hear back. A couple of days later, I messaged, hey, I know you're busy, blah, blah, blah. Can I get that pricing? And then I said, hey, look, we're New Zealand's least important podcast, and my mother and Christian's mother, who are our only listeners, would actually quite like to know how much one of these costs. So could you get back to us? Again,
Yeah.
nothing. And then I did today, because I thought we were going to do this, a follow-up. So to be honest, pretty disappointing that either their customer service is crap, which I'm sure it isn't, but they've slipped the disc on this one, or okay, I know I'm not gonna get excited. We are two guys who pretend to be a podcast, but if you're the marketing manager and a guy messages you saying, "Hey, I want to talk about your brand new product. Can you give me a price?"
You think they would, eh?
Would you get off your ass and give us a price?
Yeah, bro. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's in the background. Do I like the 3,000? Initially, yes, but there is a couple of things that would put me off buying it.
Now, before you say that, I've just done a bit of searching. Yes, it was quite challenging. It took me all of 8 seconds. So please, Jake, don't become a PI. 2.5 meters.
So standard width, the same as the 2800.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
so this plays in exactly to what I'm going to say and what we talked about a minute ago with pricing.
Go for it.
I think it's a cool boat, but I don't know why you would move from a 2800 to a 3000. There is no significant difference. You can talk about the design language. I actually don't like it. I don't like the hardtop. I don't like the flat windscreen and the big pillars that get in your way. Okay, I think it's a step backwards for Rayglass compared to the curvy design. I know it ties in with the 3500, and I do think it works on the 3500. I don't think it works with this. The galley's in the same place. Again, all these boats, these hardtops, are moving their cookers and fridges into the actual hardtop. Normally behind the driver's seats are Surtees, Tristram, I think have it on the other side.
Yep.
Macaira, you name it. They all have their cooking out in the open, so that when you can cook something, so A, it's well ventilated, B, you're
Well, that's the key, yeah. And also you're cooking a steak, right? Because you're on the water. You're gonna have a steak or fish, fatty stuff. Do you really want to be sleeping in that area that you've cooked in?
Okay, exactly. But even if it works from them, it's what's already in the 2800. That's exactly where the cooker is. I hear what you say about on top of the cabin. There's there's so on the outside where you sleep, there's a flat area which you can sun pad, which is pretty cool. The hard tops you can't close
Oh,
again. So I mean
you
that's
can't
probably
close
more.
it.
Well, it's an open hardtop. It's a 30-foot boat, and the hardtop's open.
Sounds like a lot
Again,
of those
same as
American
28
ones, eh?
Why would you not put something in to
You'd have to get
to like
you'd have to pay for canvas to do like a covering.
which I'm sure you could do, but like I just think
Yeah,
if you're a new customer, you look at
you'd
a
just
28,
go, oh, I'm just going to get a 2800.
and again, this is why I wanted pricing, because you'd look at a 2800 and you'd look at a 3000 and you'd go, I'll go for the 28, or you'd look at the 821, which is the Tristram 821, which is quite innovative. It's got the raised shear line. I think the design language on that is far better. They've got the galley outside. Like you look at the 881, which the 821 replaced, and there's significant differences. The galley was moved into the cockpit a bit more. It went from 2.5 to 2.7 width. There's a raised shear line. There's heaps of differences. I won't bore you with all of them. I just think they haven't done enough.
I think what you're saying here is totally true, bro, and that it is going to cannibalize the 2800. Because I think the 2800 just looks a little bit old.
It does look a little bit old, but if I had a 2800, you got to look at who's the market here, okay? Things are
Yep.
tight as they are.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm a new customer, I don't know if it does enough to really target some of those other boats, given some of those layout things we've just mentioned.
Yep.
Because you're taking on the Macaras, the Tristrams, the Dickey 850.
So even in the boating magazine, you're saying it didn't have the price. I'm just having a quick geese, bro.
It'll have price on application. Bloody boat in New Zealand, by the way. Can you please put prices in your thing? I'm reading a review on the boat. Can you please have our prices tested? That's my other.
Yeah.
I'm going to grind my gears with that.
And I love how they clearly are getting paid by the boats that have been supplied, because they never write a bad thing about them.
We're going to come back to boat reviews in a minute. That's also on my list here because I couldn't agree.
Anyway, carry on.
But I just think so. If you're not a Rayglass customer, you're going to have to overlook quite a few things to go to a 3000, because I don't think you don't have the lockable hardtop, all those things we just mentioned. Or you could probably buy like a second-hand 2800 or even a new 2800 for much less and not lose a lot of room. And if you're a 2800 owner, why are you going to outlay all that money to get a boat that probably is not going to feel that much different?
No, hey, bro, I would agree with you there. And especially because the 2800 has been made for such a long time, you'd be like, oh, I'll just get one of them, save a couple of $100,000.
And they're a bloody good boat. And I'm sure this 3000 is a fantastic boat. I am not saying that it's not a great boat. I'm sure it will be. But I just wonder if they've missed the mark a little bit. I will say this, though. I did watch Run Review. So I obviously own a Rayglass, and my mates, I've got a lot of mates who don't know much about boating, but the ones.
So is that the only reason why you talk to me? Because I'm the only one that kind of challenges you occasionally.
Well, you and this other mate who works for Haines Hunter, he called it a spray glass, and I said, "What do you mean by that?" And he's taking the piss, and it's a name that stuck. And he goes, "Oh, Rayglasses, they spray you." And my boat does kick up a bit of spray. It's got quite a comfortable. And I watched this bloody new review. This 3000 pushes a lot of water out of the way. Watch the Boating New Zealand review. There seems to there seems to be a lot of hull in the water, which probably feels good at some point, but I'm sure you'd get lots of spray up on that hardtop too. And again, until we go out on one, and Rayglass, if you're listening, look, sorry for being honest, but we're going to be honest on this podcast. If you want to get us out on one and drag us out, I promise to be on my best behaviour. You were very kind when you let us in the factory that day, and it was very nice to see it on the trailer.
Yeah, it was cool.
Now that I've had time, because it's all very well to jump on a new boat and go, oh, cool, well. But when you actually start breaking it down and looking at it, I just don't know if it stacks up. I was going to talk about this later, but I am actually going to insert this here. Boat reviews, Christian. This is my other thing. and
bro.
this is sounding like two old men rambling now, but boat reviews in New Zealand are crap. As you say, they just wax on about the positives.
You like tell us like tell me why I should buy your magazine to read an actual good or bad review about a boat. But like
But
I am yet to read a review that says a bad thing about a boat.
so I think there's two ways of reviewing a boat. So if anyone follows us on YouTube at Unable Seaman, there's like the owner's review type thing, which was what we did with Surtees boats with Isabel and Sasha, who very kindly took me on their boat. And over 3,000 of you have watched that, and I'm eternally grateful for that. That is awesome. That was like an owner's review. That's their boat. Obviously, Isabel works for Surtees, so it was like, hey, this is what this boat is. They're pretty honest about it, but it was quite cool. Like they've lived with that boat. So I think that's a cool way to review a boat, one way. Okay? If I can blow smoke up my own ass for a minute. The other way is for a manufacturer to give a boat to a reviewer and then bugger off and let them have the boat for like a weekend, not an hour, a weekend. Go
Mm.
away, use all the things, find out what frustrates them. Like when they open their first beer and go, oh shit, there's no cup holder here. Or, geez, it's a lot of chime slap when you try and sleep in it. Or those sorts of things, which customers want to know. Sitting on the back of it at Motahi Island, talking to the owner after you've driven it on a flat, calm day from Half Moon Bay is not a boat review. It's a self source.
Yeah, yep. And like I said, bro, if you read any of the boat reviews, you read the Maclay all the way to the Dicky. They how they got that little bar chart of like
Yeah.
value, performance. They all are the fucking same, and they're all right up around that 90%. What does that tell you?
It, well, it tells me that they're scared to eviscerate someone or be honest, because obviously the boating world is small. We do have a lot. It is quite a personal industry, I guess. People put their heart and soul and life savings and all the rest of it into building a boat, and I get that. There's a personal side to it, but you can't take it personally. Like if a reviewer is giving you feedback, like that's what your customers will give you. And all these brands, and I watched this Rayglass 3000 review. Oh, this this boat is a product of our customer feedback. So they obviously want that feedback. So don't be scared to give a boat to a reviewer. Let them have it for a weekend, or let them have it for a year,
Yeah,
and then come back and say, hey, this is what we think. Like if I'm a customer about to buy a boat, that's more valuable to me than having some designer or some owner like self-source about what he's done and what, because yep, it's interesting to hear the story, but also like I want to hear the truth, because I want that thing, or at the very least I want some of the things highlighted. Hey, this
yep,
boat's really good at doing this, but if you want this, maybe you should think about that. Like that's good, honest feedback. And we
yeah,
do it with cars. Like Jeremy Clarkson did it with cars with Top Gear. Like you can type in any car and you get a good honest review. You know what you're getting into.
yeah, bro. Mate, you and I are on the same page there. Probably
Yeah,
why it's the topic of this podcast.
yeah.
Sorry, I'm just looking at the next boat. I've jumped to the next boat,
No, so
and
okay, so you're done with the Rayglass. Look, again, no pricing, so God knows what it costs. Probably $1. Go in, offer $1. It won't be that. It'll be horrifically expensive.
so what do you reckon? A mil, 800?
No, it won't be, because the 3500s are about like 700 or 800, I think, depending on options. I would say you wouldn't get much change out of 300 or 400 with one of those 3000s. I would have
Nah,
thought.
nah, it's gonna be more than 300 or 400, bro.
Maybe more, maybe more,
No,
maybe
like,
half
cause
a million.
like an 8 meter alloy boat kitted out is like quarter of a mil.
Yeah, yeah, yes, you're probably right. Then one of those GFAB trailers, they're like $1 million fucking dollars. So yeah, yeah. Look, you're probably right, mate. Um, look, not a bad boat.
Because a Rayglass 3500 is 800k.
The Reglas what?
3500 is 800k.
Yeah, yeah. Again, I don't have confirmed pricing. I've just sort of seen what we see out in the market.
Yeah.
Um,
So anyway, let's jump to the next boat.
okay, so hang on, because which boat are you talking about?
Well, I've started going to looking at the one with T, and can I just check what the new model is?
So, well, you go for it, mate. You're a co-host here.
Is this
Tristram.
are you telling me you want to review the 691 offshore?
No, no, you're talking about Tristram.
Yes. Starts with
No,
T.
so yeah, so
Is that the new
Tristram
boat?
have no Tristram have re-released their 691 offshore, which if you can spot the difference, you're a better person than I am. Basically, very headline features. I think they've done like one of those flash dashboards that you can have your like your sounder. You know how everyone's about like the fully integrated where there's no lip. I'm trying to find the word like a flush mount sounder. That's the word I'm looking for.
Okay, cool, whatever.
Who cares if you're buying a 691, you're buying one. No, I want to talk about the 741 Vanquish. So
Why is that?
for
That's
those
not new.
this no, it is new because traditionally, and again, I told you this would be a train spotter episode. So if you want to turn this off and go and I don't know watch paint dry, that's fine. But if you are a boat train spotter here, the 701, which is their smallest hardtop, they did a 701 hardtop and a 701 Vanquish, both
Oh,
outboard.
am I looking at the 701 or the 741 Vanquish?
So the 741 was their bigger hardtop, obviously 741, a little bit bigger, and that was offered as a hardtop only in a stern drive or outboard configuration. They've now
Yes.
offered that as a stern drive, as a Vanquish, meaning a soft top. So
Okay, so I'm looking.
you
So
could
I'm looking
have
at the 741 Vanquish. Is what you're telling me?
yes, so a 741 Vanquish
Stern drive.
with stern drive. Now, why does that interest me? Again, we've got a very long road
Well,
to
it looks
get there.
very similar to your boat right now. Is what I'd say.
Yes. What's one of our other favourite boats we talk about on this podcast? And I'll give you a clue, they're made in Christchurch.
Oh yes, yes, we do like. So you're talking about CSB, and you're talking about the Excalibur.
The CSB Huntsman Excalibur. Now, we have talked so much about that boat because we love the fact that it's a stern drive, so you get that beautiful swimming platform at the back. That
And
is
have
a
you seen their cool big wraparound? Even they wrap around the bloody outboards these days.
very cool. We're going to talk about that as well. By the way, Flynn Jack, who we've interviewed on this podcast, has had that fitted to his Centurion hardtop. That is one of the best features fitted to a boat in New Zealand. Full stop. That what they've done with that Centurion. That is designers sitting down, actually listening to their customers. Are you listening, Rayglass? Actually listening to their customers and going, let's think outside the box here. That is so clever. Mum and Dad have a Centurion. I have spent hours trying to talk them into that. They're not interested because of the price. But
What does it cost?
I don't know. But you know what my
Oh,
dad's
to
like.
buy a Centurion or to buy? Oh, so they've
To
already
buy,
got the Centurion. To buy
I've
the
already got
little
a
clip-on
Centurion.
thing.
By the way, Centurion review coming very soon. I am halfway through filming that. But we
Oh, you're talking
loved,
about your own one. You're doing your
yes,
mum and dad's one.
I'm going to do an
Cool.
owner's review. Exactly what I've just talked about. Like we've actually lived with this boat. Going to review it. And so if you want to buy a Centurion, okay, here's what an owner who's lived with it, thrashed it, thinks after a couple of years of owning it.
Cool.
That is
I
more
look forward.
valuable as a purchaser, I think, than a boat in New Zealand. Oh, yes, it got 4 out of 5 stars because we need to get the next one.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this. Anyway, come back to our
So
Tristram.
741 Vanquish. Okay, so I think it's cool to see big open top stern drive boats. Like we all know there's a million hardtop options out there, but if you just want
Everyone seems to want them.
but if you want a big lake boat or a big, even just a sea boat, a great day boat. I mean, that boat's a great overnighter too, the 741. But like a big boat with heaps of room, big cabin, that nice big swim platform that a stern drive provides. That's pretty cool. I will give them that. They have thought outside the box. Would I have it over an Excalibur? Probably not. I think it's a
Nah,
more
bro. I really like the and let's be honest, Excalibur's like 150 grand if you get it, brand new secondhand.
yeah.
Uh,
Tristram will
like
not be there. The trailer might be that. Yeah.
You know, like
It's,
I'm sorry, bro. Like it's not that much more premium that I want to pay another 100 grand.
yeah. Yeah. Again, we don't have pricing. Tristram are a bit like Rayglass with pricing. Um,
But we know the pricing of the CSB. I think
yeah.
the pricing only went up recently. Like, do you know about a year ago the Centurion was only like 104k.
Is that right? Yeah. Base price. I mean, everything's gone up now, but yeah,
But you know, like
look,
that's a year ago when everything else equivalent would have been 150. That
easy.
you know, like that good value, bro.
Yeah. Yeah. No, and look, we've talked so much about Huntsman boats on this podcast with Flynn Jack on. Like if you're looking for a good, solid fiberglass boat, no matter what size, um, that's if you got to have at least a look at one of them, particularly in that either like Centurion or Excalibur. I think you can't go wrong. I mean, the Centurion's pretty versatile. Got the open model which we've got, and the hard top which Flynn Jack has. But anyway, so I just thought that was a pretty cool model from Tristram, and like good on them. It's a real classic case of like bringing out a new product range without sort of really reinventing the wheel. Effectively, they're not whacking a hardtop on one of their boats, so like bit of innovation from them.
Yeah, bro. No, I dig that. Dig that.
You into it?
Yeah, I like.
Speaking
Yeah.
speaking of innovation, I
Yes.
want to talk about a boat that is innovative but didn't need to be. It didn't need to happen in my eyes.
What's
Haines
this?
Hunter OP725, the
Oh
Overlander.
fuck! Hold on. Give me a second while I just get back at OP. Oh, amphibious.
Yes. So Haines Hunter have dipped their
Uh,
toe into the amphibious boat world. So think sea legs. It's not a sea legs product. I will very quickly highlight it is a Anura, I think you say it. So it's electric wheels, not hydraulic. Think sea legs, same sort of product, I guess. I'm sure sea legs, if they're listening, are yelling at the screen saying their
like,
product far superior or whatever. But it is a sea legs for a Haines Hunter.
yep. Yep.
Okay.
Why? Why would I get that?
Yeah. I I'm just realizing that we are sounding quite pessimistic in this podcast. So I'm going to get something straight out of the way. Let's play a
Okay.
little game, Christian, because I do have pricing for this.
Okay. This is gonna be like 400k. Like I'm not interested, bro.
What do you think pretty much a standard Haines Hunter 725? They will say there's some changes, and there's me events on the windscreen, and the hull does have some carbon fiber in it, which will be a little bit more. But basically,
Great.
a 725 as we know it,
Yep.
with some very ugly wheels bolted to it. How much do
Yep.
you think that is worth, Christian Jensen, host of New Zealand's
Oh,
least talked to and talked about and listened to?
450k.
You not bad from you.
Yeah.
$480,000.
Half a million
Four hundred eighty
dollars.
thousand dollars for a 7.5 meter, effectively a trailer boat. It's not a trailer boat. It's got the wheels. We get that, but oh, what the
What the
hell?
fuck?
Yeah, what the fuck?
Like, can I be honest? Like, when the Sea Leagues thing first came out, and uh, you're seeing a lady that we will not name here, and they lived up in Opedo Bay. I can understand for a batch there where you just want to drive down and use it from where your batch is basically overlooking the water. Yeah, I get it. Great. But you fill up your cabin with like a generator or a hydraulic system or whatever. Like, and then you bolt on these effing huge wheels that like basically make it the back look like you got three outboards hanging off the back. And then something on the front. Like, why?
Yeah, that's the big thing for me is why. I mean, they must have had customer feedback, but I just think like, how many are you actually going to sell? Like maybe 50?
No, 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 nah, bro. 50. $4 million worth of them. No way. Sorry, 10 would be $4 million worth. Fuck off. No way. And this, okay,
Okay.
this is the funny thing. I love this. If you look at the Boating New Zealand review of it, and you look at the little bar charts that we talk about, it's
Yeah.
exactly the same as every other boat I've looked at just before.
I, I just don't. I don't get what Haines Hunter's going for here. Like sea legs. If you want a sea legs, buy a sea legs. And I guess like for the people who have more money than sense, who wanted a fiberglass boat. So as far as I mean, I guess Smuggler do the wheels a little bit, but you know, a big fiberglass hardtop from a well-known boating brand, they're the only ones that do it. Good on you, Haines Hunter. But I don't think you'll sell many of them because I don't think people have $480,000 for one, and
Whew.
it is quite a niche market. Here's what I would like to see Haines Hunter do: take on Rayglass with that 3,500. No one, as I said, as we said earlier in the podcast, like every bay we went into over summer, I saw a Rayglass 3,500.
Hmm.
35 foot at seven or 800 grand, they have sold like hotcakes. Granted, during a pretty good time in New Zealand's economy, but they have sold well. Okay. You've seen other players enter the market. I've seen a few Makairas out there this summer. We've seen, I've seen a few more Dickies. Like there's a few people, but in terms of a fiberglass production launch at that size, Rayglass pretty much have the market set. There's the
Hmm.
Admiral. There's a few bits and pieces, but
Like I
Rayglass,
was going to say, the Admiral's pretty cool.
the Admiral's pretty cool, but I haven't seen any of them in the bays this summer. Tristram talked
Elite?
about
Any
1001.
elite?
Elite? No, I don't think I know the one you're talking about. Cool boat, but I'm lucky if I've seen one this summer. I'm just
Huh.
saying that there's a market there, right? People have that sort of money to spend on that sort of boat because
And they want something like that size. Yeah, 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 yeah.
180
Okay.
grand for some ugly thing with wheels, or or a bit more on a big launch. Like the market is there. That's my feeling anyway. Like, why not, Haines Hunter? You've got all this intellectual property. Clearly, you build a fantastic boat. Why not build like a 10 meter, a 35 foot, whatever launch and have a crack at Rayglass? Tristram, the same deal. Why aren't you doing this? Buccaneer, why aren't you doing this? Like, there's everyone's chasing that 7.5 meter market. Like, and Rayglass have that bigger one all to themselves.
Hey, because New Zealand properties are getting smaller, so I'm like, where are you parking these boats? Especially in Wellington.
Well, people obviously put them in marinas. So, like, again, like, good on Haines Hunter. I've tried to think of it, but like,
Of all the
480
boats that I
grand.
thought they'd make, I was like, like you know how whatever that boat is to me, as I saw it in the magazine, I was like, next.
Hmm. No, I struggle with it. So let's move on
Anyway,
because I'm not all that interested. Yeah, final.
you know when you were like, oh, I'm gonna review the Haze Hunter, I was like, oh, cool, he's gonna talk about like one of the cool 6 meter ones that I've brought out, which is actually pretty snazzy, you know.
Oh,
And then
that
you go to the OP and whatever.
no, that hard top 635 off the top of my head now. By the way, can I just say, Haines Hunter, I'm going to give you a bit of a shout out for a minute. You do have prices on your website.
No,
Yes, you can
the
download
six
a price guide.
because I've got the 635, which I quite like. I
The
quite like
SP,
that.
so the hard top 635. So sport
Oh,
635, a new model as of like maybe 2 years ago, priced between 179 and 199,000, which feels like a lot, but probably pretty accurate for this market. Good on you, Haines Hunter, for having some prices on your website because as a customer, that's what I want to know. I
yeah,
don't want to
like
ring you
is
and look like an idiot and then go, oh shit, that's 100 grand more than I thought it was going to be.
yep. That's
So
nice.
I, um, but yeah, there are some cool boats. I just don't know if that overland thing is one of them. Moving on to another boating brand, the Buccaneer. Okay, now Buccaneer.
Oh no, no, no! This is the new hardtop. Hey, this is fuck.
Yeah, Buccaneer have released a cool little hardtop.
Well, they haven't changed
575.
their website since 1999.
Their website is atrocious. I agree with you on the website.
They still have, you know, the Yamaha V4 140.
Yeah,
They still have one of the pushing. They still have one of them pushing their bow rider along.
Yeah, I know. Shocking. Anyway, website aside, they have released a new model. To be honest, Buccaneer, like the Excess range, the 635 Excess, they had a lot of time for and stuff in the past. Probably a brand I've like felt that everyone's moved on and they potentially haven't caught up. But this little 575 hardtop. Now, for some reason, they've gone with
No, I thought you were talking about the 635 hardtop. The
no,
one
the
with the
575. I'm not talking about the 635 hardtop. I'm talking about the 575 hardtop. A little five
575.
and
Give
a
me a
half
second,
meter.
because it's in the latest magazine, isn't it?
It is, and it's also on their website. Obviously, a little 5.5 meter boat with a hardtop. Now, as
Yeah,
far as
sorry,
I
it is. It
know,
is. No, this thing is fucking god awful ugly. Like
no,
it's like you look at the windscreen, and they've good on them for using flat, like split windscreens, because like those molded glass things are a pain in the ass if you break them, right?
yeah,
But like it just because
name.
all the pillars are like really thick and black. It looks like a girl that's put on too much eyeshadow, and then it's got this like curvy sort of like hard like oh bro, I've got to show you like okay, they come back to the thick black frames, right? It's so thick and black that you look through like a smaller area of glass than it really needs to be.
Like
I
an oven door.
like an oven door. It's just like what the fuck? And then they've got these curves on this hard top, and it just looks like it's been slapped on the top and screwed down with 4 stainless steel screws if you're lucky. It looks proportionately too big for the hull. It looks like Daffy Duck.
I thought I was the negative one on this podcast. I
I saw that and I just thought, fuck, I can't wait to have a podcast with Jake just to rip this ugly duckling.
okay. Well,
Like,
I
fuck.
wouldn't give
Like,
it
okay,
no,
no, stop there. I
no,
went
he's
and
not
checked out.
finished. Ladies and gentlemen, he's not finished. How about I'll sip away at my whiskey and let Christian.
Okay, I went and checked out the Challenger boats. They've been re-released by like whoever, I don't know, whatever, like some boating group in New Zealand. You know, they've taken the old mold, they haven't done anything to it, and they've started making it again. Good on
Uh-huh.
them. It's a tried and true hull. Cool. So I went and had a look at it, and I was like, oh yeah, you know, it's as you'd expect. It's pretty bare bones, but it's pretty cheap, and it's on a good hull. So I'm just plugging my battery in my phone and our computer because it's a bit low.
Yeah.
I check out this Buccaneer, and you're telling me it's new, bro?
Yeah.
It's got the same sort of styling as the Challenger from like 1999.
Okay. Can I jump back in there because I think most of our customer base, or most of our listener base, I should say, is probably left. I agree with you. It is not the best looking boat, and I'm not going to defend exactly what you said about the window pillars and stuff. Is true. I'm not going to defend that. What I would, what I want to say though is like for a fiberglass boat manufacturer to be making a 5.5 meter hardtop is pretty cool. Surtees do a very good job with their workmate. I think it's called.
Yep.
Okay. I'm sure there's other alloy ones. So basically, it's a little boat with that sort of half hard top, if you like. That's a little bit of protection from the elements because you are only in a 5.5 meter boat, so you are going to wear a bit of weather and stuff if you're a keen fisherman or whatever, getting out in all sorts of weather. So I just think it's cool that a fiberglass boat manufacturer has looked at the market and gone, we'll have a crack at that. Is it the perfect boat and would I buy one? No, probably not. But I think good on you, Buccaneer.
Well, yep. Hey, I'll give you that. I'll give you that. Like you got to give something a go, right? But they put their rod holders
Here
on the
we go.
side, like on the outside of the boat, so they just get a walloping of sea spray.
Yeah, I know. I know what you're talking about. They don't have a rocket launcher, so they put like a whole lot out there. I know exactly what you mean. That's clearly someone who's never ever had to have a real service before who's designed that.
Yeah,
But overall, that is a cool little package, and I wanted to mention it on this podcast because
yeah. You know what? Like I'll give you that. Like, hey, I want to buy a hard top. I want fiberglass. I don't want to be over 5 meters. What are
Yeah,
my options?
yeah,
Well, I would definitely buy a cheap kid stick fishing reel and just replace it every time it rusts
and just go off the rocks maybe instead.
out.
But I just think, like, if I was looking at a 35.5 meter, or something, and I was a fiberglass guy, but I wanted that protection, like, there's now a fiberglass option.
Yeah.
I just when it came out, I thought, hey, there's a company that's like spotted a gap in the market.
So is there no 5.7 meter other hard tops in fiberglass?
Not okay. Yeah, that's a real train spotter question. And if we've missed one, please get on our Instagram at Unable Seaman.
I'd hate
Message
to be
us.
known as a train
At least
spotter, eh? That's
note of
just
us.
really bad.
Under
Fuck.
between 5 and 6 meter hard tops in fiberglass.
What
I
is it? And it's under 6. It's got to be clearly under 6.
under 6 meter high, and it must be again. We've talked about the alloys, the Surtees, and that sort of. They do it. I
Yep.
don't think there's a fiberglass manufacturer doing it.
Can we just quickly run through some fiberglass people? So, okay, we know that's not CSB because they don't have anything like under 7 meters. That's
I
hard
say it's
top.
like Dorado and all that sort of thing. They're not hard tops.
No. Keep going. Buccaneer, we know they've just made one. Cool. Tristram don't do anything under 6 meters anyway, so that's cool. Out.
Yeah,
Haines, nothing.
not a hard top.
635 is the smallest. Yeah. Okay. Okay. What about Challenger boats?
I couldn't
Surely.
tell you the range off the top of my head. You go for it.
650. Okay. Yep.
Yeah,
Cool. Shit. Okay, and that's not a pretty hard top too, by the way. Okay, no, you've got a point there, bro.
I do. I don't have to love it, but I do think, like I said, I commend them for what they've done there.
Okay, I'll give you that. Okay, where's the, hey, just so I know, because I've had a few too many beers now and a couple of whiskeys. Where are we going to next in this conversation?
Well, that's our 4 boats. We've talked about your Rayglass, your Haines Hunter, the baby Buccaneer, and the 741,
Ah,
the Tristram. So
how
we've
long have we been
actually
talking
got.
for?
Well, I don't know. We've been. I feel like we have provided genuine consumer advice on this podcast. Most people just tune in for a bit of a laugh to listen to two idiots just sort of spinning shit about boats. But if you are a consumer, you're going to get something out of this. We've talked for 47 minutes, and not one of us have even said something remotely funny or remotely sort of off-piste. We've stuck to the facts. We've stuck to the
I'm feeling like it's
hardcore.
Jason Garner, One News, whatever he
It's
is.
Duncan Garner, but yeah.
Duncan
But
Garner.
okay, so there is one last. Well, there's a couple of topics that still left. Okay,
Yeah,
so we've talked about pricing for new boats.
yeah.
That it's very hard to get because and the reason I want to talk about this is in our last podcast we talked about the second-hand boat market, and we basically said, like, thank God we're not trying to sell a boat at the moment because it is dead.
Oh,
And I
bro,
think,
I've been looking at like sailboats and shtuck. We won't get into that in this podcast. That's another
yeah,
day.
it's a bit
And
crazy
I
at the
am
moment.
seeing so many that are just not turning over at all. And I'm talking about like months, like 6 months to a year, the same boats on there.
And it's not just sailboats. I had a guy reach out, a listener, I should say, not a customer, a listener, um, who's trying to sell a Tristram, very slow at the moment, and a few others after our last podcast. His name's Sea Spray on Instagram. If you want to go follow him, some cool pictures. He's got a Tristram or 851, I think it is, off the top of my head.
Cool.
Some cool missions. Anyway, it is hard going out there, but it just goes back to what we said about this new boat pricing. Like, not that anyone has any money at the moment, but if you do have some money for a boat, like, go secondhand.
Oh, bro, like people are screaming out trying to sell. And you know how like we had the COVID boom, right? And all the money that was injected in to buy boats just pushed that demand up and that pricing up, right? And like inflation's just wrecked it. So everything's like 30-40% more than it was 2-3 years ago.
Yeah.
The second hand market's gone the other way. And like my boat that I thought I got a bargain on for 14 grand, I won't be able to sell it for 14 grand.
Yep.
Like, not a
Same with my
chance.
Rayglass. Yep.
Like there's shit on there. I'm seeing outboards like really nice 140, 130, 140 horsepower Yemi, Suzuki's, all that, like four-stroke outboards that were asking 12, 15 grand. They can't even sell them at 9.
Yeah. It's yeah. It's
It's
hard to
great.
yeah. But again, when you see like a Haines Hunter with some wheels on it asking 480 grand, and the new Rayglass again wouldn't get back to us with pricing. Not that I'm dark about it, but
It sounds like you've brought it up a few times, bro. I'm starting to wonder if you're
but like then I jump on like the Rayglass owners page, which I'm part of. Like people are getting rid of 2500s for some pretty reasonable money.
like, what are you sort of seeing? Well, like, just that I
Oh,
know if I wanted to get,
like
like, if I was to get a boat right now, a Rayglass, like yours.
oh, it varies because Rayglass has been making the 2500 for so long. For example, if we stick with Rayglass, for example, like so there's like the 730, if you like, which was like the 2500 before it was the 2500,
Yeah,
and then there's I'm just trying to find it now. Sorry for you. But then there's like the 2500, which has been around for a wee while now. It's so hard. Like it depends what like. So example, they had a petrol V8 in them for a wee while,
yeah,
and like those aren't worth much at all.
yeah. So
Uh,
could I get one of those? Like, if I had 45 grand, would I be in with a
no,
grin?
no, no, not 45 grand. Not 45 grand. That's absolutely not. Okay, so I'm
Like,
just
how much do I?
scrolling
What
down.
could I? What
Okay,
if I wanted to get cheeky? How?
so here we go. Ray Glass loading. Ray Glass 2500 cruiser. So the cruiser has a slightly longer hard top. Starting bid 100 grand.
Shit.
2013, 379 hours. So it hasn't been to the moon and back. It's an inboard. Is
Oh,
it?
sorry. I thought you were talking about your size, not the 2500.
Oh no. Okay, no. I'm talking about. So it's a petrol. So it's a petrol inboard. So that puts a few people off. Petrol inboard, or every box ticked. Dinghy on the roof. All the things you'd
And
expect
how
from
much? You said 100 grand starting bid.
starting bid 100 grand. I think if you'd offered 100 grand, you'd get it.
Shit.
That's a lot of boat.
And what about yours? Yours is like a 6.5 meter.
So mine's a 650. Okay, it was then called a 2150. Now they don't make. It was such a good boat that Rayglass decided to stop making it. I paid in 2021, 22. Sorry, I paid $57,000 for it.
Yep.
I reckon, yeah, if I had to sell it, tomorrow, you'd be in the 40s.
Because I can see one here. I can see 40 grand,
Yeah,
but it's got a 175 two-stroke Yemi on the back.
yeah. There's sort of like three stages. There's the two-stroke outboards, which is like bottom of the barrel, if you like.
Oh, yep.
Then there's the stern drives, which I have, which are like marginally better. They're a four-stroke, but people have their hang-ups on stern drives. And then there's like the four-stroke outboards, which are still asking big money. Whether they're getting big money is another story. But
Right.
the the beauty is like I don't want to sell my boat. I'm very happy with my boat, but like I'm just saying, if you had to sell, and there's boats out there that are on the market, and you were a purchaser, like it is an absolute buyer's market out there at the moment.
Oh, bro. Like, I've seen I've just looked right now, and I can get a Cruise Master 700 or 7000, whatever it's called, for 45 grand.
Yeah, and they are a cool boat. They are ugly as sin boat,
But real cool.
like, but they are so cool. They're like a caravan on the ocean.
Yeah, yeah. And there is one here that's got twin 225 two-strokes on the back, a Yemi. I mean, a Rayglass, like 7 something meters, 8 something meters. Holy fuck.
Yeah, 850. Yeah. So
You know that
again,
one,
if you
eh?
could put, yeah, I do know the one, and it's a pretty like cool boat. I've looked at there. So I guess don't be put off, but as much as it's really cool to see new product and new innovation by some of these brands, you know, the pricing is, and I'm not going to bang them like for the pricing too much. Like outboards are expensive, hourly rates for staff and everything are expensive. Like everything's expensive now, right?
Mm.
So I get they've got overheads, but I'm just saying, like, if you want to get into that boating market, we talked last podcast about that. That secondhand market is hard work, but if you do have some money, look at it because there are some bargains there, and there are some good boats going for probably below what they're worth.
Bro, like I'm actually looking right now going, if I had 60 grand, I can get some cool shit.
Yeah, you really can.
Like
Anyway, I
real
think
cool shit.
in terms of a podcast, we will probably leave it there. I just want to say thank you so much for everyone for tuning in. Thank you also for all the people who have gone over to our Instagram page at Unable Seaman. All the boats we have talked about today will be posted there. So if you would like to know what they look like and some little bit of information on them, they're there. Of course, you can follow all those brands as well. So just to go over that again, there was the Rayglass 3000, the Tristram 741 Vanquish, the Haines Hunter. It's called an Overlander, but it's a 725 OP Overlander.
What does the P stand for?
Piece of shit. No. Did I say that out loud? No. A baby Buccaneer 575 hardtop. So you can obviously follow them as well. You can also head over to our YouTube channel at Unable Seaman, where we have our latest video, which was a very cool review with Isabel and Sasha on their brand new Surtees Game Fisher, which was just such a fantastic boat. It was just so much fun, that mission. And there was a Centurion review coming very soon. But anyway, that is enough for this time. I would like to thank Christian for providing, his in-depth analysis on all things boating and fishing this month. Yeah, you're such an asset to the maritime community.
Oh, you're such an asshole.
We will try and be a bit more regular now that Christian's out of that tricky period of the first. So your baby born in March. Otis was born in March. Am I right in
Yep.
saying that?
End of March. Yep.
End of
Right at
March.
the bitter end of March. Yep.
So we're releasing this in June. So obviously, it's been a long time between drinks because Christian's had his hands full, fully understandably so. But now that he's sort of in the clear a little bit, we will try and be a little bit more regular with the podcasts. But in the meantime, keep it safe. Oh, sorry, you had something to say?
No, I just said that sounds like a fair promise.
Yep, that sounds like a fair promise. In the meantime, get your Coast Guard membership. That was something we were going to talk about, but didn't have run out of time. Get your Coast Guard membership. Get your engine serviced over winter, and get out on the water on flat days to remind yourself how good boating can be. Until next month, ka kite, and we will see you next time. Bye.
See you.